Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Ever felt like you were just completely trapped, like in a prison of your own silence?
Oh, absolutely.
That's the reality, the chilling reality at the heart of The Silent Patient.
Yeah.
This is a psychological thriller that's going to grab you from page one. If you love to unravel twisted minds,
Oh,
and
yeah.
if you like diving deep into the human psyche, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives like this one.
Please do.
You can find the Amazon link for The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides in the description below.
Yes, they can.
So we're about to unlock this world where a famous painter, Alicia Berenson, makes this shocking choice after doing something devastating.
Yeah,
She chooses silence.
she does.
But what is her silence concealing?
Oh, that's the question, isn't it?
Is it guilt? Is it madness? Or is it something even more complex?
Well, what's so captivating about The Silent Patient is how it just throws us immediately into this moral gray area. You have Alicia, this successful artist, married to Gabriel, a renowned fashion photographer.
Right.
Their life seems perfect, right? Picture perfect.
On the surface, yeah.
But then, bam, Alicia shoots Gabriel 5 times in the face.
It's brutal, right?
It is, and then she just clams up, completely refuses to explain anything.
Yeah. And it just makes you wonder, right?
It does.
Was this just a calculated act of revenge? Was it a breakdown fueled by some hidden trauma? Or was it something else entirely?
Exactly. The silence itself becomes a character. It taunts us, the readers and the characters within the story. Everyone's left grasping for answers, trying to decipher the truth behind this horrific act.
Right. And
Some people just immediately label her a monster, while others believe there has to be a deeper reason for her silence.
it's like her silence is forcing us to confront our own biases.
Yeah.
Do we believe in inherent evil, or do we search for explanations? Do we look for those cracks in someone's psyche that might lead them to do something so extreme?
Absolutely. And that's where Theo Faber comes in, our psychotherapist, who becomes almost obsessed with Elisa's case.
Right.
He sees her as a puzzle to be solved, believing therapy walks the key to unlocking the secrets behind her silence.
Yeah, he's convinced he can get her to talk, he can get her to reveal what truly happened that night.
He is.
But I can't help but wonder if there's a part of him that is also trying to silence his own inner demons.
Oh,
I
interesting.
mean, we learned about his troubled childhood, the anxiety and the fear that stemmed from his father's abusive behavior.
Right. That's a great observation. You can't ignore the parallels between Theo's past and his intense desire to fix Alicia.
Yeah.
It makes you question his motivations. Is he truly trying to help her, or is he projecting his own need for control and redemption onto her, especially when his own marriage crumbles after discovering his wife's infidelity?
It's like his personal turmoil fuels his obsession with Alicia's case, right?
Oh,
He's struggling to cope with his own feelings of betrayal and inadequacy, so he throws himself into this quest to unravel her silence, maybe hoping to find some semblance of order and meaning in the chaos of his own life.
right.
And his colleagues aren't making it any easier for him.
Oh, they're not. They believe Alicia is beyond help, that therapy is a waste of time.
They do.
But feels convinced he can reach her, which says a lot about his personality. His unwavering belief in the power of psychotherapy.
Yeah.
He's almost a rogue therapist, willing to challenge the status quo and push boundaries to get to the truth.
Yeah, and then comes that shocking moment when Alicia attacks another patient.
Oh, right.
Elif.
Elif, yes.
And what's really interesting is what Elif says to Alicia right before the attack.
Oh, really?
She tells her that her husband deserved it.
Wow.
It's like this tiny crack in Alicia's silence.
It is.
A hint that there's a story we haven't heard yet, a possible justifications for her actions.
Right. This is where the narrative takes a turn. It shifts our attention from simply questioning Alicia's sanity to considering the possibility that she was a victim before she became the perpetrator.
It's like we're starting to see a different side of Alicia, a woman who may have been driven to a breaking point. It makes Theo even more determined to uncover the truth, so he starts digging into her past, trying to piece together a timeline of events.
Right. And he uncovers some pretty telling details.
He does.
He learns about Alicia's troubled childhood, her strained relationship with her mother,
Yeah.
and an incident where she believes someone was watching her.
That incident is particularly interesting because it plants the seed of paranoia that continues to haunt her throughout the story. You start to wonder if her past traumas have resurfaced, blurring the lines between reality and delusion.
Exactly. It makes you question how much of what we're seeing is objective truth and how much is filtered through the lens of Alicia's past experiences.
This exploration of her childhood also adds another layer to the story, doesn't it?
It does.
It reminds us that our pasts, especially our childhoods, shape who we are, how we perceive the world, and even how we react in extreme situations.
It's the classic nature versus nurture debate, isn't it? Are we products of our genes or are we shaped by our experiences? The silent patient doesn't give us easy answers. Instead, it presents a complex interplay of both, forcing us to consider the multitude of factors that contribute to a person's psychological makeup.
And then, just as we are trying to make sense of all these pieces, Alicia does something completely unexpected. She hands
Oh,
Theo her diary.
really?
It's a huge breakthrough, a way for her to communicate when words fail her.
The diary becomes a lifeline, a direct channel into Alicia's thoughts and feelings. It's raw, unfiltered,
Yes.
and full of unsettling details about her marriage, her growing paranoia, and a stalker who seems to be closing in on her.
It's like we're finally getting a glimpse into her world,
We are.
into the torment and fear that she's been carrying in silence.
Yes.
And it's through the diary that we learn about the terrifying events leading up to Gabriel's death. Strange phone calls, a shadowy figure lurking outside her house,
Right.
and a terrifying home invasion that ends with his murder.
Oh, wow.
It's like Alicia's finally giving us a voice, but even then,
Yeah,
we're left questioning the reliability of her account.
that's true.
Is this a genuine account of stalking and terror, or is it a distorted perception fueled by a troubled mind?
It's almost as if the author is daring us to trust her, to believe her version of events.
Yes.
But he also cleverly plants seeds of doubt, forcing us to question everything we think we know.
And while we are trying to navigate the truth within Alicia's diary,
Right.
Theo is busy conducting his own investigation, driven by a need for answers that goes beyond his professional role as her therapist.
He is.
He starts shadowing Kathy's lover, trying to understand the dynamics of their affair.
Right.
He even has this intense late-night meeting with Paul, Alicia's cousin,
Paul, yeah.
that culminates on the roof of Alicia's childhood home. It's a scene filled with tension and unanswered questions, as if the past is reaching out to touch the present.
There's this palpable sense of unease in these scenes, a feeling that Theo is getting closer to the truth.
Yeah.
But at what cost? His actions are blurring the lines between therapy and investigation, between concern and obsession.
And just when we think we're starting to understand the puzzle, a major breakthrough occurs.
Oh.
Alicia, after a failed suicide attempt, finally breaks her silence and speaks to Theo.
Wow. It's an incredibly powerful moment after all this time shouted in silence.
It is.
She finally utters words. You almost feel this wave of relief.
You do.
Like maybe, just maybe, she's on the road to healing and understanding.
Right?
But as we know with these psychological thrillers,
Yeah.
things aren't always what they seem.
Yeah, that's an understatement.
It is.
What we thought was a suicide attempt turns out to be something far more sinister.
Oh, wow.
Someone deliberately injected Alicia with morphine, intending to silence her for good.
Wow.
It makes you question everything.
Absolutely. Suddenly the focus shifts. We're no longer just trying to understand why Alicia killed her husband.
Right.
Now we're plunged into a whole new mystery.
Yeah.
Who's this new threat lurking in the shadows and what are their motives?
And the answer to that question is a real shocker.
It is.
It turns out the person responsible for the attempted murder is none other than Theo.
Theo.
Alicia's therapist, the one person who seemed dedicated to helping her, is the very one who tries to silence her forever.
It's a twist that completely flips the script. We're forced to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about Theo.
Right.
His seemingly genuine concern, his unwavering belief in her, was it all a facade? This is where Michaelides' brilliance as a writer shines through.
Yeah.
He doesn't just throw in a random plot twist. He meticulously lays the groundwork, planting seeds of doubt along the way so that when the truth is revealed, it's both shocking and strangely inevitable.
It's like he's playing with our expectations.
He is.
Leading us down a path of assumptions only to pull the rug out from under us at the very end. But let's go back to Theo for a second. Why would he, a therapist sworn to heal, resort to such a drastic, violent act?
Well, if we look closely at Theo's character, we see that his obsession with Alicia, his need to save her, spiraled into something dangerous. Remember his troubled past, his father's abusive behavior. It's likely that Theo's desire to help Alicia stemmed from a deeper need to exert control, to rewrite his own past by fixing someone else's.
So he saw himself as her savior, her protector.
Exactly.
And in his twisted logic, Gabriel, her husband, become the obstacle.
Yes.
The one standing in the way of his grand plan to rescue Alicia.
Exactly. He created this narrative in his mind where he was the hero, and eliminating Gabriel was the only way to achieve his distorted vision of a happy ending. It's a chilling reminder that the line between compassion and obsession can be incredibly thin, especially when someone is grappling with their own unresolved traumas.
And the truly disturbing part is that he gets away with it. Theo manages to frame another colleague, manipulate the system, and ultimately take over the Grove, the very institution where he was supposed to be helping patients.
It's a bleak ending that leaves you with a lingering sense of unease. It raises questions about the nature of power, the potential for manipulation within seemingly benevolent institutions, and the lasting consequences of unchecked ambition.
The story culminates with Alicia's final diary entry, written after Theo leaves her alone after trying to kill her. It's in this entry that the full truth is revealed. Theo was the home invader, the man who terrorized her, the one who ultimately murdered Gabriel.
This final revelation is like a punch to the gut. It confirms our suspicions about Theo's dark side while simultaneously casting doubt on everything we thought we knew about Alicia's story.
It's brilliant how Michael Doughty circles back to the beginning, using Alicia's diary as the ultimate source of truth. It forces us to confront our own biases, to question who we choose to believe and why.
Exactly. He's playing with the concept of perception, reminding us that truth can be subjective, especially when it's filtered through the lens of trauma, guilt, and manipulation.
The Silent Patient isn't just a thriller. It's a psychological puzzle box that keeps you guessing until the very end.
It does.
It challenges you to think critically, to question everything you read, and to confront the uncomfortable realities of human nature.
And what's so fascinating is how it interweaves elements of Greek tragedy, specifically the myth of Alcestis, to add another layer of depth and symbolism.
I was going to mention that the parallels between Alicia and Alcestis, a woman who sacrifices herself for her husband only to be betrayed, are really striking. It makes you think about themes of love sacrifice and the cyclical nature of betrayal.
It's brilliant how Michaelides uses this ancient myth to illuminate the complexities of Alicia's story, adding a timeless quality to the narrative.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, but for you, what stood out the most in The Silent Patient? What resonated with you on a deeper level?
For me, it was the exploration of silence as a weapon, as a shield, and as a form of communication. Alicia's silence, though initially perceived as a sign of guilt or madness, ultimately becomes her salvation. It's through her silence that she's able to process her trauma, reclaim her agency, and expose the truth.
That's a really insightful point. The silence isn't just an absence of words. It's a powerful force that shapes the entire narrative.
Absolutely, and it's through that silence that the reader is drawn into the story, forced to become an active participant in piecing together the truth.
Well, I think we've given our listeners plenty to ponder today. What do you say we wrap things up?
Sounds good to me. I'm always eager to hear what our listeners take away from these deep dives.
So to our listeners out there, if you've read The Silent Patient, what was your favorite twist or moment?
Yeah, was there a particular character that maybe you found yourself drawn to?
Or repelled by?
Oh, yeah.
I'm curious.
I am too.
I'm particularly interested in hearing your thoughts on Theo.
Oh, yes.
Did you see his dark side coming, or were you completely caught off guard by his actions?
Me too.
I know, I was definitely surprised.
Yeah.
Even though, looking back, there were these subtle hints
There were.
sprinkled throughout the story.
Right.
It just goes to show how masterful Michaelides is at crafting these complex and layered characters.
He doesn't give us easy answers or predictable heroes and villains.
He doesn't.
Instead, he presents us with these flawed individuals driven by a mix of good and bad intentions,
Right.
leaving us to grapple with the gray areas of morality.
It's what makes The Silent Patient such a compelling and thought-provoking read.
It is.
It's not just a thriller.
It's not.
It's a study of human psychology, of the ways in which our pasts can shape our presents,
Absolutely.
and how easily we can deceive ourselves and others.
And others, yes.
If you're a fan of psychological thrillers or just enjoy stories that delve into the darker aspects of the human psyche,
Oh, yeah.
then The Silent Patient is a must-read. It's a book that will stay with you long after you've finished the last page.
It will.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on The Silent Patient. Share your favorite moments,
Yes.
your theories, and your overall impressions in the comments below.
Please do.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive,
Yes.
don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends.
We would appreciate that.
We're always exploring new books and ideas,
We are.
and we're excited to have you join us on this journey of discovery.
We are.
Until next time, keep those pages turning and those minds wondering.
It told me.
I